Mindy, Carol, first, thank you for taking the time, coming up here, being a part of the Champion program.
Sure.
It is, as we were saying earlier, extremely important to us, and we really do appreciate it. This is, as Matt mentioned, conversation, so try to forget that we have these gentlemen looking over our shoulders, but it'll be fine. So with that, let's shake it out. Tell me first, what was the first concert you ever went to?
Oh my goodness.
Rick Springfield in Medford, Oregon
Rick Springfield, I like it.
in 1983.
Wow. Randy Travis in probably 1987.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah. I actually skipped out. Actually, literally went out the window with some girlfriends. We were 16. I shouldn't have done that.
Mine was Eric Clapton. My family's. That was also my first time ever smelling weed, so it was a really great experience for me in multiple reasons. But no. Okay, so Ace Electric. Let's start this all off first with, can you guys tell me a little bit of, let's kind of go around what you do for Ace, and then tell me a little bit about Ace and the growth specifically that you've experienced over the last, we were saying earlier, last 5 to 10 years has been pretty wild, it sounds like.
So I'm Mindy Bates. I'm the HR director at Ace Electric. I've been with Ace for about 8 years. And during that 8 years, there's been just insane growth. We started around 250 employees. Now we're a little over 1,300, and we need to scale to about 1,550 this year. By the end of next year, we'll be right at 2,000 employees. It's a huge lift, but this data center work is not slowing down, and neither are we. So it's a good problem to have.
Perfect. Carol?
Carol Walters, I am with MIS and I'm a system analyst. I've only been with ACE for 9 months, but the growth that I can see in EFM, where my office is, just is exponential, like every day. So it's clear that ACE is not slowing down, and it's just going to get faster and with a lot more demands for us in MIS.
You mentioned faster, and that's where I want to kind of center our conversation today. Is we hear a lot about visibility and being able to see, and call it the growth, call it the labor shortage, call it what you want. Things are going faster, and they keep picking up pace, and the risks and the rewards get higher, but it goes faster. And so we're like walking this tightrope. I say walking, we're like running across this tightrope and trying to find the people and make the next job successful, so on and so forth. We believe part of what we do in that is this idea of this visibility and being able to see, what jobs are coming down the pipe, where the forecast, the peaks and valleys are, but where we're going to need more people, and then how we see and leverage the people that are already in our business. And so that's where I feel like we could take our conversation today a little bit. Was you all, I think, have a unique perspective around the actual roster. And in our word, when we say roster, we just mean a list of your people, what makes them unique, how to best leverage them across those projects going ahead, and how we intentionally develop them through their experiences as well. Whether it's scheduling them closer to home for employee retention, or whether it's this individual does not have controls experience, let's send them to a job where they can get that experience or work under this person who's been with ACE longer. So as we talk through this stuff, this visibility and this roster idea, can you tell me, before Rivet, what was it like? Where were you looking? How did it go when it came to trying to see the roster and understand who was who in the business, when you're at this scale now too?
Mm-hmm. We use, about 4 years ago, we started using BambooHR. And that was the first time that we were actually able to assign location as far as job site, have an organizational chart within a system. That was the first time we had that capability. It also houses our training and gives us triggers when it's expiring and things like that. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't pull all that together. So I'm have to go to a different program to look for performance evaluations, and I have to go over here to find something else. And so having that information that we're building inside of a Rivet, to have that baseball card, whether it's a skill level or a certification or the job site, or maybe that they speak 2 languages, or that they have a crew that they have to travel with. He can't go here without his brother. We'll have those specific notes to be able to know that and manage that labor better.
I've never seen Rivet in my life before. What do you mean baseball card?
Oh, so to me, a baseball card is very similar to like Major League Baseball cards. You're going to have somebody's information there, their stats, their performance, their skill level on different types of skills. They may be great at cable trays and they may not be good at anything else. So you'll know whether they're an installer level or a senior electrician. It also helps us identify employees too if they're ready to be promoted. You can see if their skill level is rising to that. You know you're short a foreman, maybe you've got somebody that's ready to step up and make sure that they've got everything they need to take that next step.
What does it mean for your business to be able to have that roster available to the field teams that are actually trying to plan and maneuver these people as well?
That's very critical because in some of the things that we do, like in Bamboo or Performyard, we are constantly having to manage access to see this piece of it, that piece of it, and so having it all in one place and all that access is managed in one area is just it's a game changer for us. If we can actually get them to, we're very early on, so we're getting them down into the weeds to make sure that they can have access to everything they need.
We talk about compliance. I think you all have a very close perspective on compliance of who's allowed to go to these projects, et cetera. How does Rivet play into those decisions, or has it played into those yet, or do you have plans for how it could play into your compliance and making sure that you all are getting the right people?
Right now it doesn't. I can see that it would in the future. There are different job sites that have different requirements, as maybe it's a fit for duty test. Well, right now we have to go dig around to see when was the last time they had one, but now we can create that as a tag or something there in Rivet that we could look at and make sure that they have what they need. They can already go because we can get that set up there with the client.
Perfect.
To get them on site.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'd love to hear about, we'll see inside some organizations as they are larger, they begin to have silos. And whether that's how they do things or where the information is, the workforce still must be, there's this movement in the industry, right, of having one workforce. Can you guys tell me about before Rivet, what that was like, growing to that scale, having those different departments, divisions, what it looks like now and what the vision looks like for bringing it all together?
We still are working through those challenges, and we're new to Rivet. So our challenges are that some divisions will have people that don't travel. And so if I have a travel team that needs work, to send those travelers to a non-traveling team, the wages are different. The per diem's probably not budgeted for. The non-travelers may work 4 10-hour shifts and they don't work on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the travelers want 50, 60 hours a week because they're not at home anyway, so they might as well work. So those are some challenges there, but being able to identify those inside of Rivet and figure out the better fits of the ones to send to the different divisions or a specific job site or specific skill set, that's really, really going to help us.
What about before Rivet, the silos, right? Of how to see where you're going to need more people, how to see when you have too many people. What was that like?
Completely manual. It was based off of, I always say, rumors and innuendos, little side meetings. Having that all in one place to have that visibility is just a game changer for us. Speaking from the HR side, that's how we see what our targets are instead of hearing a rumor of, hey, they needed 20 people and he told so-and-so, and we're running around trying to figure out what in the world's going on. To have some specific targets and some look-aheads, when they're keeping their information updated, it's just valuable to us to make sure we get that done.
How does it feel? How does it feel to have a place where you can look and see what's coming?
Makes me feel like I'll have a little more control. Yeah, because before, if you're working, you don't have a goal, you don't have a sight into the future. It just feels like chaos, and so now there's a little more control to it.
And for me, I think preparing for readiness with adoption, right? As more teams are coming on board, there's learnings to be had. So SOPs will be modified, new will be written based on what we're learning, and we can expand from that and we can share, right? So we always look at who are the first adopters, right? And who are we going to bring on board first? What do we learn? And build on that. So for me, I think that once we can really get that first group, we can get some great momentum and drive this home.
You have a unique perspective, Carol. I think also on, we hear a lot of companies talk about, hey, we need to get our processes figured out, right? Like I don't want to adopt a tool because I want to figure out my processes first. But then there's a little bit of this chicken and the egg sometimes of, well, you haven't figured out your processes before because there was never a place to see it, to actually have a vehicle or a catalyst to help the process change. What does it mean to have a tool that's supporting a process change in your experience?
Well, so I have talked with Dana about, give me some lessons. What do I need to learn? And so she's given me a list. And with that list, I'm going to go through the exercise, but I'm also going to start my first, looks like 2 SOPs, and I'll go over them with her, and we can build from there. So it kind of is a chicken and an egg, but I don't think we necessarily have to have the formal training to start a training if we are focused on the right audience, the people who are most eager to jump in, roll up their sleeves, and get their hands dirty without having a roadmap, right? But we would need someone from the RIVET team to make sure we're learning in a more methodical way.
What's it been like working with the RIVET team and like the people? Have they been there when you're trying to make these changes?
Always there. Whether it is an email or the chat or just a call, right? Always there. And it's not a prescriptive response, right? It is actually, you're heard. They hear that you're looking for something different outside of the box maybe than what's normally asked. And it's always, okay, let's talk about that. Let's see what we can do today. And I can tell you that a solution was provided to me that isn't something that is offered with RIVET, and it's something that you all use internally, but it gives me a window on how my users are utilizing it. So I look at it differently. I want to know what my users are doing, who's kind of following the rules, but who's on the edge case, right? Who's going to try to stretch those boundaries? Those are the people I really want to look at and see. Why is that important?
Yeah.
What's the gate for them that might keep them from going any farther? So the team is exceptional.
What's your experience with the team been like?
Wonderful. They're open to ideas. If I've ever needed help for anything, we talked about breaking them down into task orders. You guys have been very receptive, talking about expanding the software. But what I also liked is some things that I heard today about you guys being transparent, that you're listening, that you're trying to go deeper instead of wider in the software. That makes a lot of sense to me, and I really love the fact that you guys listen to the feedback and include us in your development.
I have like 2 more questions for you, and then I promise I'll let you go. One of them is, I have this constant battle, conundrum, whatever you want to call it, right? This situation I find myself in where we'll be talking to contractors and it's, okay, well, but how much better does it make us at, blank? And so the way I like to phrase this is I'd like to ask you first, imagine we're all in school and we're in a labor planning class. And think of the whole company, from on a specific job with a specific person to how the entire company manages and maneuvers and projects and their labor, the workforce, planning, maneuvering, scheduling. If we got a grade on that from 0 to 100%, before RIVET, where would you guys say you were at to start?
With the whole class, so in any classroom setting, you're going to have some superstars and you're going to have ones that aren't. But as the whole class put together, I can't say that we've done a bad job because we've had some crazy growth, successful projects. But it's not been as streamlined as it should have been, I think. And I think there's a huge a visibility issue between what goes on in the field and what HR needs to be focusing on for recruitment. And so having all of that information into one place is really going to help us with that. So
90, 92%, 80, 81%. Where would you throw yourself if I was like, you got to give me a number?
I would say we're a strong B+.
Perfect. So before B+, that's fine.
Yeah.
After Rivet, or where you believe you're headed, where do you think, what's that delta? Are we at a B++? Are we at an A-? Are we at a C now? Did we go backwards? Where's the after compared to the before?
Currently, I don't think we're far enough down the process to give a good grade on that.
Okay.
But what I see the capabilities of Rivet being for our team, and what I know that our team's capable of, and what we always strive for, is to be the best, the preferred electrical contractor of choice. Sorry to everybody else that's here. But that's why we partnered with you, because we want to be better, we want to do better, and I really believe you have a solution that can help us get there.
Will Rivet help you get 1% better, do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was going for. That helps. That's
yeah.
great.
I think that in working with Mindy and Bobby and identifying the team that will jump in and use Rivet, that will help us get that momentum, right? You always have to have the one guinea pig where there's learnings to be had, but that will help other teams come on board and use it. So I think that's really our next step is who do we...
We got to get a champion.
Who do we... Yeah, exactly. Who do we bring in?
And totally off the right, but I would start... You need that authority figure at the top. It's probably Bobby or we always, like, you need somebody in operational executive leadership that's going to say, like, this is the way. I think you heard it in the room where everyone pretty unanimously was like, you got to do it this way if you want labor on your project. And we've never seen that way fail, honestly. So that's why it kind of, you can phrase it differently and approach it differently, but I think that's kind of where it goes. I'll turn you loose after this. We're all sitting in a bar, and all of a sudden a random electrical contractor walks in the room. They are not your competitor. They're on the West Coast, far away. You never come across them in the world. What do you tell them about Rivet?
That it's a phenomenal tool, and that I love the fact that you guys are innovative, that you're always looking for something different, and that you listen.
I'd say that there's a logical workflow that they can apply to however their business model is set up, that it has that flexibility, and it doesn't take a PhD to, lift it up, stand it up in a team, and start using it.
Great answer.
Perfect. Anything I missed?
No, but if you know that electrical contractor I'm hiring.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure they'll give you all their people. I think we got all the big ones. Thank you again. Thank you just for being here. Again, we know everyone's crazy busy at this time, but to take the time out to come travel up here and spend time with us is genuinely one of our favorite things about getting to do this as a business.
Thank you for having us. We're learning so much.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's been an amazing experience. Thank you.
Good. Tomorrow's going to be even better. It just gets better and better. So
Great.
thank you again.